everyone. We'll start in about 5 minutes. Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started. Can you hear me? I can't tell. So thanks so much for coming out to Segue this Saturday. I'm Stephen Motika, the director of Nightboat Books, and we're thrilled to be curating this season. And we have a wonderful reading with Gabriel Ojeda-Sague and Zan Forrest Phillips. I'm very excited that they're here. As always, I'm really excited that my Nightboat colleagues are going to be introducing both of the poets, and I'll bring them up in a minute. We have two more readings. Next week is Don Lundy Martin and Dior J. Stevens. Come back. And our last reading before Thanksgiving, November 18th, is Eileen Miles and Jackie Wang. So please, yeah. And I also want to thank James and Lonely and everyone at Segue for being such wonderful partners and hosts. Artist Space, of course, and my colleagues and co-curators, Gia Gonzalez and Lena Bergamini, too, for being such great Segue visionaries. And we're going to go straight through today. So our first reader will be Zan, and then Gabrielle will read second. And Zan will be introduced by our operations assistant, Paloma St. Denis Lopez. So Paloma will come up. And then following Zan's reading, Emily Bark-Brown, our fall intern, will be reading Gabrielle. So please join me in welcoming Paloma up to the podium.
Hi. Thanks. I'm going to a friend's engagement party after this, so I'm wearing these fancy shoes. Okay, I'm excited to be here. I'm introducing Zan, who will be sharing from both new and old work, and just going to talk a little bit about my experience reading Zan's work. I first came across Zan's poetry in Bomb magazine, where he had two poems published in the early winter of 2022. I remember reading Film Theory and feeling impressed and jealous at how swiftly the lines followed one another like the cars of a train, a magnificent feat of engineering, like something that could only move in a certain way. In his book Whole, the same engineering is so dexterously employed to show you how the speaker's world moves, now and throughout history. The first poem in the book is an ambitious contrapuntal, able to be read top to bottom, bottom to top, and horizontally. The poem asks you which direction you'd like to go in and begs you to notice where you are taken in making such a decision. Zan's book Whole came about when the idea of an autobiography of the ocean coincided with the biography of the self. Whole refers to the main body of a ship, specifically those which brought kidnapped Africans to the Americas, and its murky and violent history in relation to Blackness today. It was written throughout his undergraduate and postgraduate years, and it is one of those projects whose ambitious scope necessitates that it evolves alongside its writer. Zan Forrest Phillips is a poet, artist, and self-identified trashy TV connoisseur based in Pittsburgh. Zan is the author of Whole, published by Nightboat Books in 2019, which won the Lambda Literary Award for Trans Poetry in 2020, and a Whitting Award in 2021. His earlier collection, Reasons for Smoking, which won the 2016 Seattle Review Chapbook Contest, judged by Claudia Rankine, and in addition to having work featured in Bomb magazine, Berlin Quarterly Review, Gulf Coast, and more, Zan was most recently a fellow at the Center for African American Poetry and Poetics, where he continued to build upon a growing body of work unfolding the dimensions of Blackness and trans experience. Please welcome Zan Phillips.
Oh my God, that was so nice. Thank you so much for that intro. I forgot I did that. It's really nice. I think I'm going to adjust this. Yeah. It's really nice. I love reading in New York. People show up, people are excited. Thanks for coming out. And thank you, Stephen, for believing in my book and asking me to be here. I'm going to start by reading Film Theory and some important news about that poem. If you like it, I It's available as a broadside today. I partnered with Raptor Editing. My friend is here who runs that press. And if you're interested, see us at the table. But this is the poem. It's called Film Theory. A character I love dies, and I am ruined. Things that haven't happened hurt me considerably. Hurt me considerably, and I'll act like nothing happened. Nothing happened, but I expired on the cellular level. Cell death corresponds to an intangible loss. Intangible loss is fiction's cornerstone. I corner fiction for a confession. I'm not real, none of this is. Fiction cannot unplant an image, it can only corrupt it. Film corrupts an image at 24 frames per second. When an image corrupts a body, we call this character. A character wears a body, not the other way around. A body wears shame, its own or a director's. Anything that contradicts a director, they cut. A cut is a place where I have been severed from myself. A character is a version severed from itself. A version deceased withers on its person. Thanks. Okay. So the rest of what I'm sharing today is not poems like that. Whoa, that was loud. I've been thinking about ekphrasis a lot, but I've been kind of frustrated by writing ekphrasis. And if you don't know what that means, ekphrasis is using art to address pre-existing art. So let me just do this tech thing first. I can't do it all. I can't talk and plug it in at the same time. I've wanted to do a thing where I take sounds in television that I like and kind of elongate that moment into something you can live to, something you can dance to, something you can run to. But before we do this, if you feel able, you should stand up for a second. You should reach your arms up as high as you can. And then you should go down. And just hang for a second, let the blood go to your head. And slowly come back up, but don't rush it, please. You can take one arm and cross it. Left side. And if you want to be really fancy, you can do your legs, but you have to have balance. So if you're gonna hurt someone, don't do this way. Know your limits. Okay, thank you. And if you want to dance, you can. Some of these have videos that accompany them. When I make work, I send it to my friend Marwa Halal, and then she'll add stuff to it. So two of these come with videos. And there's like a little album cover I made. That's the title of the track. All right, here we go. Thank you. I made that song. I made it. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Both of those tracks are sample Always Sunny, texts that I enjoy.
I had a dream last night. My belly button was Phillips had screwed, and I walked in unscrewed. But when I get unscrewed, my penis falls off. You know, I pick it up from the halls and I come running around, looking for the guy who used to hook to my Lincoln when I throw off Lincoln so he can put it back on. And you know, I'm holding it up, and this bird swoops down, and everything in its beak flies off of it. What kind of bird? I don't know, seagull or something. A water bird? The sort of birds that I was with that kid who didn't even ever had any idea. What else is a water bird? Pelican. Flamingo. What about ducks? It's goddamn ducks. What is it about those ducks that meant so much to you? I thought it was just a trip having those wild creatures come into my pool and have their little babies. Ever say the same poem? Oh, jeez. Fuck, now it's getting hot. Shit. One of the ducks
Thank you. Thank you. I just have 2 more tracks left. Thanks. I'm not sure what's I don't This is the last one. Thank you, everyone. And if you do want to dance, it's your last chance. So, okay.
I love it in here. I fucking love it!
Thank you.
Hi, I was kind of hoping Logan Roy would just stay there behind me the whole time. Thanks, Anne. That was incredible. Thanks to everyone at Artist Space and Segue. I'm going to be introducing our next reader. I'm Emily Bark Brown. I'm the fall intern at Nightboat. Nightboat is so excited to introduce Gabriel Ojeda-Sague to Segue. His most recent book, Madness, was a finalist for the 2023 Publishing Triangle's Tom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry and a finalist for the 2023 Four Quartets Prize from the Poetry Society of America. Madness was published by Nightboat in 2022. Madness is a selected poems for a fictional poet, Luis Montes Torres, a gay Cuban exile who makes a minor name for himself in the world of poetry. As Rob McLennan wrote on his blog, through the creation of Montes Torres, there's something very freeing in the way Ojeda-Sague composes this range of a life's work. To my mind, it is both incredibly freeing and wildly brave to modulate one's voice into the voice of another, in a sense hiding one's poems in the oeuvre of your own creation. William Finn Harling, writing for Lambda Literary, described madness as occupying the liminal space between fact and fiction that requires readers to read from a place of productive uncertainty. If we fall in love with Montes Torres through his love poems, his diary entries, and what we can glean of his life through editorial notes, does our love become uncertain? I don't think so. I think that through a transitive property of love, we heap our affections on Ojeda-Sague, and we marvel at the mind as it turns us through these affections. Ojeda-Sague describes Madness as a conceptual and experimental book about the lyric, and in tuning the eye through another, he frees a conceptual self to encounter and wrestle with themes of ecological collapse, heartbreak, exile, and alienation. Madness is Gabriel Ojeda-Sague's fourth book of poetry. A self-described terminally online gay Leo and cat owner, he is currently a PhD student in English at the University of Chicago, where he studies the history and aesthetics of pornography. Please welcome Gabriel to the stage.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Zan. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Segue. Thank you, Nightboat. Compared to Zan, I'm going to be like total Luddite. I'm going to read off an old piece of inkjet printer paper. So I have some books to sell of this kid, if you want it. I'm happy to be here in New York. I'm happy all of you came to this. What else, what do I need to say? I don't need to say much. Oh, okay, so that you know about what the next 22 minutes of your life is going to look like. I'm going to read like an amuse-bouche poem, like a little tiny poem. That's not from anything. It's just its thing. Then I'm going to read a sort of long piece that is part of a core of a new project that is tentatively called "And So I Present Myself to Panic." It's about panic in various forms. Though the poem that I'll be reading to you is more about kind of anti-trans, anti-gay panic. And then I'm going to read a substantive chunk of Montes Torres' diary section in this. And I'll intro that in a second. But let's start with an amuse-bouche. This is called For Puig, meaning Manuel Puig, the Argentinian novelist. He just appeared like Rita Hayworth in Gilda in 1946. He went up the stairs like Claudette Colbert in Imitation of Life, 1934. His eyes widened like Brigitte Helm in Metropolis, 1927. He screamed when he saw it, like Fay Wray in King Kong, 1933. He ran like Anne Sheridan in Woman on the Run, 1950. He fell onto his back like Joan Crawford in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, 1962. He wept like Simone Simon in Cat People, 1942. He bled like Janet Leigh in Psycho, 1960. He died like Helen Hayes in A Farewell to Arms, 1932. He saw light just about everywhere. Thank you very much. So one of the core parts of this panic book is called The 3 Poems on the Theory of Sexuality, which is a pun title on 2 books. One is Ashbery's 3 Poems, which I think is one of the best books ever. And one is Freud's 3 Essays on the Theory of Sexuality, which I'm not going to use the word best to describe, but is really interesting to read. Anyway, so there's 3 poems on the theory of sexuality. I'm just going to read the first of them. And also the other 2, like this stage of writing is questionable if they exist yet. But this one really exists and is coming out soon in Base to the Beast. Noah Ross's and others' Queer Poetics Journal. Okay, 3 poems on the theory of sexuality. 1. I thought that if I could put all my hunger down, my instinct and animal magnetism pinging rather, as tin mallets on tin drums, my assumptions pinned to the wall, and all the leaflets collated like mad in a costly scenario, that would be one way. And next, the thought came to me that I've been not so subtly obsessing in public, a radio and a washing machine, in print and beside, for years now. And to put it all down implied something shapelier, groomed, and unnecessary, which I had already been doing, a cauldron but no witch, those little brown eyes, grazing animals, sweetly and cloyingly uneven. And so I decided against it. And so I study the inhuman. Here, these are some old photographs that show me nude, and don't I look an awful lot better than the one on the fainting couch? This is an example of leaving something out and then watching it dry and germ. Because I'm beautiful, I'll need a burgundy flotation device, and you and everyone that you know that I picture can bicycle away to the place that seems even farther than memoir, even greasier than popular opinion, until everyone except me knows that, in all honesty, there's nothing to be done. But, well, richer and crasser and bigger theories amount to, they make amounts of sap all over the pelvis, glass slippers, glossy and oversized gloves, no melting point but melting. So now, at noon, I'll spend my time rotating until aberrant, burning like a bush, proof unfettered, an open can of axle grease. We want nothing more than, our mothers. Starlets, starhounds, star fiends, who wrote a poem on hammering open a star, who found in hunger a strategy or more simply a ghost, if a ghost is how we would describe the particular ghastliness of personality, detail passages in my life, in yours, decide before we do the irritations of disclosure. This is important to know at the grocery store. Your friends will die, unsurprisingly. Shot glasses lined against the wall in one's pretty life, on top of a sort of dresser, which seems to be always marching, whistling, gathering dust like dew, models for measuring the length of the world without looking at it. And so honesty is our only strategy, or being honest at depicting something so illogical, so cornered and perverse and unceremonious and dithering as this, as a balloon staying still in the defense of a tree, or as your baby who is sucking the air, who is obsessed with assholes without yet being able to obsess a balloon in a tree, must be worth admitting a fire. I got sick along the way. I revealed myself to extinction rhetoric, to gourmands pulling my tongue and making shapes. I tried to distinguish segments of reality for their unique comforts, zones of indecision. I recite the alphabet under the unique duress of similisexualism. You keep one breath latent in another, your way of pretending you really are a private person. An irresponsible umlaut falls directly on a sun-soaked synonym for what you know I am, what I still haven't quite decided I am. And so what if I am under all these pretensions and illusions, a child in love with itself, hugging itself to itself until it spins and spins into a woman? It isn't a role made to be played well, this lurking along the mind's suburbs. I am attempting mindfulness of the opinions of others, but you see me as this unfortunate onion, a dense accumulation of littler and littler versions of me, each with an intention of harm and each with an intention of careful recovery. So goes life, at least life with your imprint. And so I present myself to panic, to this gun-drenched country where land flickers in and out of time periods like a constant signal, and where the only growth is in serious fantasies. You write a letter. I think X. I think I can dedicate this erogenous pixelization to the amphigenics, but that would be just like folding a mystery novel over a bent knee, just pausing the day itself. So then, we must commit to thinking the difference between thoughts circular or linear, leading to themselves or to some location, some finding, and while we search for that vocabulary, it should be clear I lean towards the former. I fear out of weakness and indigo, as if hoping that by sketching the circle enough, I might use its overlaps for a crown. But this is important. This is time for decision-making. Like an abuser, like a cat, I groom myself. I learn to live in others. This is a variation on broadcasting. You discover empty moments seem more expressive among the properly developed, the robbers and anti-neurotics who have done their right share of abandoning. Silence composes, prisms balanced on the end of the thumb, fathers alive. You say that light reflecting on the lake looks like a candy coating, like delectable static, to which my best reply is something that should have instead been a shrug. In this set of experiences, hallucination may feel a familiar gesture of confident logic. So too we must be aware of our garden. Perhaps this is just what it's like to be safe. Perhaps I am a she the way a boat is. It seems an ensemble is poised to reprise my adolescence as a closet drama, where the older and still jobless actor gets all the best lines about my masturbation and self-abuse. He waves his hands at the reading desk, and for what? As no one will see this play performed, or already have. The whale bests junipers in Manic's scene. Regardless, focus on closing doors, on blinds decorated by suppurating light. How obscured are we to the true nature of reality, so long without the sun or too long in its view that we can so easily find systems where there are none, pretending that such a mound of moss and ice is architecture, and that its architecture spells death rather than its mound spelling life, true image. All you have to do is admit your error in development, your father's guitar. Who has seen the wind? Fetishists asleep in Marrow's dream. So why desire to occupy the most vulnerable position, that seat of rage, the glass bowl? Listening to panic is to hear a soft parade. We stomach shine. I expose myself as a photograph to a repeated dripping of water along my spine and the edge of my jaw. Be sweet. Tell your life's events in order. Your summer in Vienna, you kissed a girl, baseball, your dad on TV, twice the fire, the imago, cancer, a vacation in Budapest, sleep for 13 hours. This is necessary for telling the time to strangers. And so here we stand with nothing but questions when everything seems so poised to die in dusk, which makes us feel insignificant and ridiculous. Why bother? Well, for one, the mild air. And that there's nothing of evil in you and me, and that the absurdity of it makes the world seem prepared, as a piano is, which is to say, stuffed with nails. So if here you weep in questions, it is because you are perverse and parallel to the sky. Starlight is an epoxy that holds the wondering together in time. I stand bright here, but corrode into anxiety, can't bear the look up, the simultaneous. Okay, so as Emily mentioned, this is a book that pretends to be a selected poems for a poet that doesn't exist named Luis Montes Torres. And that would help you with most of the poems that are written here. But I'm going to read from the part where that form breaks, because the sort of joke of the book is that one of his books really sucks and that the editors don't want to excerpt it. So instead, they just excerpt like random parts of his diaries. But his diaries are sort of obviously poems in their own way, and yada yada. The conceit with the diaries is that Luis Montes Torres, who's kind of a very depressive, kind of stuck in, I don't know how to put this quickly. You'll find out if you read it. Okay, he's a depressive, that's for one. And he has a real feeling of stuckness kind of constantly, and he's an obsessor. He likes to write like single line diary entries, like one sentence, like, I saw a dog. So they're packed like this into kind of a prose section, and they have pipes, like typographical pipes dividing the days. Now you can't see that when I read it, which means I'm gonna just like snap to say that a day has passed. That's all you need to know. This is a day, okay. So I'm gonna start from like the middle of 2013. There's two diary sections, 2013 and 2024. This book ends in it technically ends in 2054, but Luis Montes Torres dies in 2035. We're all gonna be really sad that day. Okay, so this is from 2013. We're not in the future. We're in 2013, what a weird year. Okay. One of those days where I'm totally listless, but for just one moment, I see everything very clearly. Today, I imagined flight in many forms. Wrote a poem today, and I liked it. Deleted the poem from yesterday. When I die, I want to crackle about. On some streets of this city, I feel like I get hives. I think my questions about boats are getting boring. Evan and I spent all of today at a museum where I saw the most beautiful painting I've ever seen in my life. I don't remember what it was called. Evan is obsessed with Rothko. One of those days where Evan and I took up space as if it was a way of communicating with each other. The weekend felt like a small victory. Pet a dog today. At night, I do not believe in anyone. Have a friend I am in love with, but I am in love with many, many men. Sometimes I hit myself on the head to relax. Things are complicated. At work today, I watched a couple movies. It was a slow day, waiting for Guffman and Some Like It Hot. Sometimes I am like a dislocated shoulder. Today, sky perfect, and for an hour, pink. After much deliberation, I've decided music is better for other people than me. I have little to say today, bought yarn. Tried making visual art today, made me happy. From my apartment, I heard someone on the street getting hurt. Went to the beach with Evan. I explained why I say the Pacific Ocean is a hallucination of the Atlantic. He laughed and tossed sand on my nose. Great dog today, brown and black and playful. Read Skylar on the way to work. Life is impossible. I bought my friend lemonade today because she's down. The rain today was a gift. Read today in Los Feliz with 3 others. Many good poets here. Terrible wine at the reading. Slow morning from the weed last night. Breakfast of rice, eggs, adobo. Nikki Giovanni line, I turned myself into myself. Lecture on recycling plastic at the library. Thought about my toothbrush. Tomorrow we launch Sailing in LA, then 2 days after in New York. Think I've figured out finally how to best read At Rest and In a Bottle, slanted and sagging. That's the secret. Sales are okay. Do not feel I have much energy to market it. Imelda's doing her best. Hate chihuahuas. Saw 3 today. Saw a cute pit bull. Refreshing. Diana does not like the book, I can tell. The weather predictions were exactly right. Saw Elliot today for the first time in weeks. He made some time for him and I to be alone. I told him all I wanted was his forgiveness, though I feel I'm owed much more. Sometimes I think I'm driven to an embarrassing madness by men. With Elliot, with many other men, I feel as if I become a yearning and a talent for tenderness. Tenderness as in being easily chewed. Should stop writing my name on books I own. Conditions of possibility. Who first said that? The light in this apartment, a miracle on certain days. At this point, I'm so deeply rooted in Evan. Though there are days when I would like to run away, there are also days when I feel attached to any object he touches. Need to remember groceries and a good run today. Richard Blanco and I had coffee today, ha ha. He's very nice to look at, bad poet though. Reading Euripides in bed for a better portion of the day. I am 37 today, wish we had pets. Dream last night, in a field I am standing. I apologize to someone I do not see and I begin to fly. Some things I am thankful for today. The coffee Evan makes, 75 degrees, Spicer's After Lorca, Evan's recurring jokes, the Pacific Ocean, that the frisbee tossed by college kids amidst my head, that my stomach has settled a bit, Fania All-Stars, a nighttime drive with my friend. Over eggs, my friend of many years said, "You forget sometimes that there are other people around you." The opposite of the problem, I think, but I know what she means. Every year, September's coming surprises me. D.H. Lawrence, there is a sticky universal pitch that I refuse to touch. Traffic's so awful today, I almost got out of the car to sit on my hood, wanted to yell the whole way home. With a friend today who moved 5 years ago from Venezuela, we went out to the movies. At some point I made a joke to which she responded, "That's because you're American." When did I become the American? Do I believe in ghosts? Saw the tallest dog I have ever seen today. Amazing. Today I felt like a very young version of me. Not a bad thing this time. I felt like a version of me that recovers. Impossible to compare brands of cereal on most days. Evan is sleeping and I am trying to learn how to play the guitar. A child at the park told me today I was, quote, very handsome. Helped Renata build a deck chair today. Who would have thought? Me. I think it turned out all right. Maybe I would be like this in any country. Increasingly convinced I have very much in common with dandelions, though I know I sound like a sissy when I say that. At a farmer's market today with Evan and did not find Cubanelle peppers. I told Evan it would be better if he just made pork chops for Renata instead. Tonight, drank. At the library, I found a book of spells and thought something similar might make for a good next book. Must abandon this boat's theme. Tonight saw Elliot, who apologized to me. Felt good to hear that. I'd been waiting for it. We sat in silence for a few minutes after. Felt like strings were pulling me towards him, though I didn't move. I hate this familiar feeling, potential energy. Somewhere, someone in another country is playing soccer. Somewhere, someone in another country is thinking of naming their child Luis. At the beach with Evan, I swore the ocean and him were made of the same incredible yarn. Wish I made more money, but the library and writing is all the stress I can handle. Though I've always been depressed, the last few years have brought me a certain fragility I cannot put my finger on. Fragility, not that I will hurt myself, I've never fantasized that, too afraid of dying to do so. Fragile, as in dedicated to a version of the world that does not hold under pressure. I laughed at everything Evan said tonight over dinner. We are hiking tomorrow. On the phone with Imelda, I thanked her so much, even though the book is impressing few people. Wish I thought like her. This week, Evan and I are watching every Stepford Wives movie. 3 made for TV that we found online and 2 real movies. Tonight, watch the original. Catherine Ross is so very beautiful. At lunch with my friend today, I had so much to say to her. Writing in a cafe today, something new. Poems about the weather, but I think they're convincing. Had to abandon the Stepford Wives project halfway through. All terrible after the first one. Today, there was an hour where the sky was acid yellow. I'm not sure why, and I don't think it was good, but it was very beautiful. Corgi on the street today. Leaves changing even here. When I was a teenager, I had many dreams where I got sick, and my mother came to take care of me. Last night, I had a variation of the dream. My mother was sick, and my father was taking care of her. I was in New York for some reason I can't figure out. Read today with Francisco Amado Gonzalez and Hilda Inés. Why is it that even in my proper place, I sometimes feel like someone's hallucination? When I feel most abstract is when I feel most nostalgic. Today, I sat in the park to center myself, to feel less sad. A sparrow landed near me. Sparrows rarely sit for long. This one hopped around my feet for a while. I have good weeks sometimes. I bought Evan a gold bangle today, which he said he likes because it makes him look like Cleopatra. I think he looks nice as Cleopatra. If I could, I would give up everything, drive deep into the desert, and sing until I couldn't anymore. Then I'd soon be a cactus and a fox. We dressed as Bert and Ernie to Evan's friend's party. I had a bit too much tequila. Robert Gluckline, Jack's bent elbow made me wistful for bending elbows. Tried several times to end a new poem like the Hopkins poem that ends, bright wings, but nothing sounded right. Exhale with a tail, bright wings. Pretty nice day today, even in this heat wave. Evan and I took some time to just walk around the neighborhood together. Dreamed of melted snow and serpents. The focused look a man gives me on the street at night. Invitation or threat, either way, in that look, the promise that I will be disassembled. Dreamed of melted snow, serpents, tennis, baking soda, spray paint, damask, a patient in a bed. Dreamed a bay full of liquid silver. Dreamed my blood was water. Hard to focus today. Better today. For me, the days after bad dreams have always felt like Ziploc bags. Went for a long run. What right do I have to endlessly vacillate between feeling crummy and feeling in awe? My mother's birthday. I've decided to finally write her. I often feel that many of my problems are caused by my lifelong disconnect from my mother. Evan says that's unfair. Got an address from her from a distant cousin. I plan on telling her very little about my life. I rarely feel nostalgic for DC, but I do miss the snow. To be more precise, I miss the first snow. Every few days, I think Evan is a miracle. Woke up and made Evan eggs. He spent a few hours of the morning calling family members. I bought myself a yo-yo, but I'm not very good at it. I use the water at the beach as a tuning fork. I flick it and try to set my brain to its pitch. Evan said to write down my New Year's resolution, so here. In writing, scare myself. In life, find and give safety. Thanks all.
Thank you so much to Zan and to Gabriel. A big round of applause for our presenters. Please check out the merch table. Their books, Broadsides and Bags. Come back next week for Dunlundy Martin and Dior J. Stevens. Thank you for being here.